Okay, there's that notch right there. I've got to fit this right here over that notch. And there's a little bracket right here that kind of sticks out a little bit, which means I got to put the very bottom of this kind of down there, and that kind of helps hold that down while that gets pushed down in there. That's why it's critical to know that once you have this whole bracket assembly installed on the back of your TV, you've got it installed right side up, because you don't want to start making an assumption that down here is the bottom of the TV when in fact maybe that's the top of the TV. So see, now I got to just take this, I've got to wedge it over that, pull this up out of the way maybe. Just got to kind of slip it over that lip. Okay, like that. Okay. There it is, just like that, looks like. There. Guess that's right, looks right. All right. Okay, now I can set this all down. And what I'll have to do, if you got questions, because see, this may slide, see there? You think, you're like, okay, is that right? You may have to lift the TV up and make sure that you got it right side up. Let's just lift this up and see. Because this is where the weight's going to be. And that's there. Okay. That's where it needs to go. So now that you know it needs to be pushed up all the way, because see, this is on a slide. You don't want to measure in the wrong place. Get that up there tight. Now, we can take some measurements. And we know this is going to fit into another bracket, but at least we can get the measurement from this edge down to the bottom of the TV, right? And in fact, I know the bottom of the TV needs to be at 49 inches, so I'm going to hold that. And by the way, that's for this particular TV. Your TV doesn't necessarily have to be 49 inches to the bottom. That's just how the people wanted it. And they held the TV. We ended up measuring first and kind of taking a look. And then when we had some help, we actually held this up against the wall. We had somebody sit in the couch and kind of look at it and say, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, there, right there. Okay, so I got 49, and I'm going to hold my tape measure here and just see how close. What is that? You know, that looks like about 5 feet to the bottom edge of here. 60 inches. I can hold it on there. I mean, if I'm off a 16th or an 1/8, I'm not going to worry about it. You know, I want fairly close to 49 inches when I get all done. Okay, so I'm at 60 inches to the bottom of this. Now we can take that back over to our bracket on the floor and take some final measurements. You know what? I told you wrong on how to fit this in. Remember I told you to fit this underneath this little bottom bracket? Remember, let's see, I told you to slide it underneath there and then fit it on. Well, that was wrong. I'm glad I reread the directions, because what's going to happen is if I do that, then what could happen is after I get it installed and get it set exactly where it's supposed to be, it could have a tendency for somebody to push on the bottom of it and push it right off the bracket. All right? So you've got to be careful with that. So instead, you're going to put it on top of there, and then there's a little groove in there where it pushes down, and then it keeps the bottom edge of this from going down anywhere. So they said there's a definite click. So I want to push down on there. Now I'm going to push up. Hear that? Click right into place. See? That's how it's supposed to be. And then there's a little set screw right there. You put that set screw in and that kind of helps hold it too. That's how that works. All right? Now let's see if our measurement is the same. I think it will be, but let's just check it anyways. Remember we're at 60 inches? Let's see if that's changed anything. I'm going to hold this at 49 to the bottom of the TV, which is this, there's a little plastic edge there, so make sure that you look at your TV and figure out exactly where it goes. Okay? Now that might have changed things, maybe eighth of an inch or so. And I'm glad I checked that, only because that's how I want to snap it on there when I get it up against the wall. Okay? So I'm at 59 and 7/8, let's call it. An eighth of an inch. 59 and 7/8 so far. Okay, make sure you read those directions. I can't stress the importance of that. Just because you think you're mechanically inclined, oh, I don't need any directions, I can figure this out. You know, just go through the steps, because every direction sheet is different. Like I said, your TV mounting bracket could be different, but you got to go through these same types of steps in order for you to make the determination of where the mounting bracket is going to be bolted to the wall. Okay? So remember, we got 59 and 7/8 to the bottom of there in order for our TV to fit 49 inches off the ground to the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to slip this back up under there. I'm going to put that like that. Okay? And I know that's where that's going to go. You see why we can't make that exactly where we're going to mount this? Okay, now I could do a couple things. I want to know exactly where the bottom edge of this is instead of the center of where I'm going to drill my hole, let's say. Okay, I could write down these measurements on a piece of paper and then add or subtract, and sometimes if you do that, you might get screwed up. Okay, so let's just hold the tape measure exactly where we need to be, okay? Now I'm going to hold it 59 and 7/8 to this top edge, because that's where the bottom of that flange is on our mounting bracket, you know, that we measured. Okay? Now I can line up, I can hold that, I could line to the edge of the bottom. And that looks like 58 and 3/8 to this bottom edge. If I eyeball down, I mean, that's close enough. 58 and 3/8 to the bottom of that. 58 and 3/8. I got to write that measurement down. 58 and 3/8, bottom edge. I don't like to not write down my measurements and think, oh, I'll remember that. And then you go doing something else, you think, what is that measurement? Okay, now I'm just going to double check it. I always like to double check my stuff. Measure twice, drill and install once. That's what this is all about. Now I'm going to hold it over there, 59 and 7/8 this, 58 and 3/8. If anything, maybe a pinch towards 58 and a half. And you know what? Maybe we should just do that, because once everything gets bolted on here, it may have a slight tendency to just sag ever so little, because the whole bracket assembly is going to be heavy, you know? So I'm going to say a half, 58 and a half inches to this bottom edge. All right? There. That's a really big part of the project right there. Now I don't want to confuse you about when I said it might sag. Now this mounting bracket that we bolt onto the wall, obviously that's not going to sag. What I'm referring to is this whole arm assembly. when it gets out away from the wall, you got all the weight of the TV right here. And if anything, you know, different pieces of these moving parts could slightly move, ever so slightly, okay? So that's why I'm going to make this measurement up just a hair, because I want to see how close I can get to 49 inches. I mean, hey, after I get done installing this whole thing, if it's 49 and an eighth, big wow. If it's 48 and 3/4, that's fine too. You know, the last thing I want to do is measure wrong, get it all up there, put it up there, and look at it and say, oh, what happened here? It's only 42 inches off the ground. How did I do that? Oh, I see what I did. Now you've got to redo everything. You got holes in your wall and all that kind of stuff. So that's why it's important to go through this process and get it done right.